Hello and welcome to Bees 2 Billionaires, the only podcast where two attractive people okay, I'm just getting... Okay, this just in. My producer's kind of talking to me. Apparently this is, well, the only podcast where two attractive people and Sam meet every Thursday to rank everything that both does and doesn't exist in a single itemized list from best to worst from Bees to Billionaires. I'm Joshua Joe.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Sam.
Oh. Okay. Hi, Sam.
Hello. I wrangled myself in.
How did you get in, exactly?
A magician never reveals his secrets. A bit of blackmailing
Sam,
can go a long way.
The deal was that you were here if Emily couldn't make it. This wasn't supposed to be a regular thing.
I've made it a regular thing.
Okay. Well, hello, podcast time. I have nothing to talk about. How have your weeks been? This is now a 3-person podcast, I guess. Blammo.
My week's been a week. Looking forward it to end is the best way I can describe it.
I think the same goes for all of us.
Well, I was fine until I've kind of run out of room to actually edit the podcast. We're not out of room, just like as much room as I'd like. So it's either going to be edited poorly or it's going to go out late, which is fine. Or, well, I could actually try and edit it without, like, spending many, many hours procrastinating, and then it would go out on time, but... How can you already ask more of me? I'm already a saint. I've already... bleeding over this podcast. I'm basically martyred for good comedy. Yeah. I think we should finally separate me and Emily. Just put me at the top of the list. I mean, it was going to happen one day.
Yeah. I think you're the only reason why I managed to wound myself up so high.
What?
Oh, I think out of the two of us, you are the better half.
Oh, damn. I disagree. I'm not nearly as attractive. The opening's more of an average across the two of us. Two attractive people. I'm fairly alright, better than Sam, of course, but you're up there.
That's appreciated.
Damn, you were already just complimenting me for how I do the podcast. I responded by saying that your best trait was your looks.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You're welcome. You can have that one for free.
Oh.
Oh, I apologise about that.
No.
I thought a fun thing to do would be we could have 5... Because I've kind of experimented with the idea of having vague tiers, or at least benchmarks to, like, name at the beginning of every single episode, when talking about the list. A list which currently has 67 items on it, by the way. Fun fact. So I've talked about how it starts with bees and crabs, and then there's us, some good films, and the fictional characters we want to have sex with in Monster Prom. And I've continued on. I was thinking a fun thing to actually replace that with would be to just name off like 5 items as our tier. So we'd have the best and the worst, and then like the 25% along. And then those could be our benchmark for the rest of the episode. I had that idea, and I didn't prepare for it, and therefore do not know what those benchmarks actually come out as.
Yeah, that sounds... Yeah, that just sounds...
Okay, so let's say I'm going to have to slowly work out. I could just, like, eyeball it, but no, I have to be methodical and actually work it out proper. So the best item on the list is currently bees, our second benchmark is going to be Liam D. Lioncourt, the vampire babe from Monster Prom, however, specifically with a Hulk Hogan voice. Our next little benchmark is going to be The Truman Show.
Yep. Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Followed by Flight of the Bumblebee, our theme song, and the worst thing is people who don't listen to this podcast, non-believers. Not because we're petty, but because obviously this podcast is morally correct. It is a guide on how to live your life, and how to make every single decision. Wow. Now imagine that last couple minute spiel, but if it was like short and about one sentence long.
Yep.
In fact, just imagine a good podcast, and that's basically what we just... Yeah. That's us. Wow. We did it, guys.
Should we finish the podcast there? We did everything now. Yay!
Man, I happily would, because my mind is somewhere else. I just did I was very proud of myself, my little workout that I just did, and I completely ruined myself by the end of it, and my brain is just gone. There's no resources left for my brain. I found a new YouTuber. His name I've forgotten, which is helpful. It's like Dylan Johnson or something. He's a maybe American cycling coach and endurance athlete. So he makes videos, and he cites his sources. He talks a lot about scientific publications and like papers and stuff when recommending workouts, which is very helpful. So I've started doing the Tabata, which is fairly simple. It's literally just like 30-second sprints, intermittent. I hope I'm using the word intermittent correctly. I should stop using words that I haven't actually checked the dictionary definition of and just heard in context.
It's not as bad.
It's intervals.
It's not bad. I made up a new word today. I was so frazzled at work. I was there like, which car is it? And I said the frontwards one. I meant the closest, but I said frontwards.
Frontwards.
So
was it facing towards you, or was it just the
no?
closest
It was just
one?
like in the car park. It's like the closest car towards, and I just said frontwards. So, yeah, I was there, and everyone just stared at me. They're like, "Sam, are you okay?" They're like, "No, my brain is dead. It's frazzled. It's been a long day." So yeah, I do tend to make up words. Yeah. That is my favourite thing to do, and it's usually a combination of like several words put together. So yeah.
Oh, I feel like I want to quickly run around and like compliment or like cycle back and like compliment Emily a lot, because like I joked that my compliment was literally just about physical appearance, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And then I did just leave it there. I just did the funny and dropped it. No,
don't even worry about
really
it.
Good. I really enjoy doing there was a good few episodes where I didn't have to include Sam, and that was all you, baby. Mwah.
Oh, thank you. Well, now I've got Sam to fill in, so I can just sit back and relax. Don't have to worry about being useless now.
I'll just take I'll take the bullet. I'll just take all the Josh's insults, and you come up with the funny quips.
I'll try to, but I'm a bit frazzled as well, to be honest.
I think we're all frazzled.
We need
we need something
like an hour's meditation and some like just
why don't
a
we
big
have
meal,
the silent
energy
podcast
bars.
where we all meditate together?
That's
we have a pre-show where we just do like vocal warm-ups and some yoga.
Yeah.
And eat like bananas and get energized.
Exactly. That sounds nice and relaxing.
Yeah, I need that. I know a couple YouTube videos which we can watch. Yoga videos.
Oh please! What was the name of the YouTube channel that you use at school?
Cosmic Kids. It's.
Cosmic Kids. Am I allowed to reveal the fact you work at a school?
Yeah, I.
Or is that?
I work at school. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh yeah. So the exact location the longitude and latitude of the school is etc. The
Yeah, let's give out the postcode.
the date and time of Sam's shifts. Man, she is a bit. It's a bit over the top. The production budget is surreal.
The budget, I do not know where she gets this budget for.
When you said that she had Sonic themed yoga,
Yes.
I thought it would be. Firstly, I was hoping that she was dressed up as Sonic. As like, okay, now we're gonna do a spin dash pose, and she curls up into a ball and then does some yoga thing from there or something.
Oh no!
She has like a.
She legit has clips from the film.
Screen.
She's legit clips from the film, and it's.
But her background was like a panoscopic, like animated, like it was like a really, like one of the higher quality things you'd find on like a wallpaper engine, or something like that. It was really really good looking background. I expected her to have like a poster for Sonic Lost World or the movie, or like just like in the background, and that was it. But no, I didn't watch enough of it to find out what was Sonic themed about the actual yoga. Please tell me that she was off like, this is what we do to burn off all our chili dogs.
Yeah, there's a bit with chili dogs in it, and
oh. Bless.
Yeah, it's basically a lot of it is the usual yoga sort of moves, sort of like downward dog, and then the whole sort of like stretches and tree pose. But just
you mean that. Oh, I thought of a funny joke. So you go. Okay. Downwards hog. He's a hedgehog.
That was awful.
You like that one, Sam?
I did not get it, so I'm moving on.
Because he's a hedgehog. It's like downwards dog, but he's downward hog.
You're going to make him want to do the podcast.
I got that now.
Can I put the joke on the list?
No. It must
Top
be
of the
low.
list.
Let's put on, it's got to be low. That was...
I don't think it's worth the time to actually put on the list, so please do just continue.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, it was mainly like sort of the usual tree pose, other stuff like sort of spin, which was like actual yoga poses, but she weaves a story throughout it, and sort of be like, hey,
okay.
We're gonna dial up on our phone, and then it's sort of doing a whole you bring your foot towards your ear type of stretch, and it's there like, but in the story,
there's a plot.
There is a plot to every story.
That's awesome. And I'm so on board for narrative yoga.
Yeah. Hilariously, it's a lot of standing up and down. Like for the figures, our kids aren't fast enough to go up and back down again.
The woodland creatures have been, transformed into horrific capitalist machines, and we have to destroy the white man at the head of industrialization.
That would be about 10 minutes of the video to explain all that, and it's usually sort of them doing a bunch of animal poses for the animals, and then stuff along the lines of that. So it's fun, and we have that every Tuesday, and oh boy, do we hate it.
Oh, no, that sounds great. Can I come?
No. I'm afraid there's a lot of legal stuff that you'll have to do
Bad
first.
podcasters only. Is that the rule, huh, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay. I see how it is. Then I don't want to go because my mum tells me that I'm a funny boy. She doesn't listen to the podcast. Let's talk about the movie.
Yeah.
The natural conversations run its course. We don't need good segues. We watched 2001: A Space Odyssey this week.
It was pretty good.
I barely remember it.
I remember
because of the heavy drinking. There was a few times when I just like, I was getting increasingly annoyed throughout the film, and then eventually it occurred to me, I could just like
that
leave
was really,
the
really
Discord
funny.
call.
Because I didn't mute anyone.
But the film really, it uses silence really well. There's a lot
but
of
it's too much
moments.
silence. I don't. Anyway, I'll let you carry on. But
There's a moment, and it's a specific moment, and am I alright to spoil 2001? It came out in
I had
1968.
The only thing I was spoiled was like Hal. I was spoiled, but I think that's the big thing.
I mean, I hadn't watched I watched some like stuff about 2001 a little while ago. I mean, I'm a Matt Colville stan, and he has a little analysis series of each act. So I didn't realize until I saw those a few months ago that the Hal storyline is a third of the plot of 2001.
Yeah, that surprised me a whole lot, because after hearing about 2001, I thought Hal would be a huge part of it, and I was surprised with how little he actually plays a part of it.
Yeah, it's. I guess it's not really about. I was gonna say it's about evolution. I guess that's like the thing it's most about, really, or about progress or the human species, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, because obviously it opens on some monkeys touching an obelisk and then learning how to murder good.
Best part of the film, the monkeys. We all loved that. That it was.
and then some boys touched another obelisk, and then we cut to a ship 18 months later with Hal on board, and I think that was kind of implied to be the bit of evolution caused by the second obelisk discovered on the moon. Is that produced Hal, maybe? Because something had to have happened, right? We see 3 obelisks in the film, all of them do something very, very big. And obviously, Hal's introductory scene is the one that immediately follows the second obelisk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, the thing I was going to spoil, which I will just spoil, skip ahead if you don't want to hear 2001 spoilers, is there's a moment where Hal does some murder. He turns off the life support systems for 3 people in stasis, and we see, and it just cuts to the same still shot we've seen of that like little bit of ship like for the entire film, and it's just silent. And it's just like this really nice, just like because like nothing's changed in the shot, but it's just the shot of this long corridor with the 3 people in the stasis pods to the sides, and it's just like a stretched out, really silent shot, and it hits hard. I guess it comes down to that kind of that. I don't know if it's. I was going to say call it a rule of filmmaking, but it isn't really a rule. But the idea that you can act most efficiently or effectively and most like. It's
show don't tell.
Emotionally by not acting is what I was going to say. Like if you've got a shot of like something violent and murdery intercut with someone's plain face, you think they're like going mad or really angry, but it can just be an actor looking bored. But it's just because we put so much onto the film. Like this still shot of the corridor, which we've seen so many times, just there for 10-15 seconds in complete silence. Was it really? Oh, it hit me, and then someone made a joke over it, and I got like, I started sulking.
Yeah, that's that sort of element. I think it's called Brechtian, a Brechtian piece, which is like he's a drama practitioner.
Right.
This is because I did drama A level, so hence I could say all this. But main part of what he did, basically not to make this podcast 20 hours long, because there's a lot of stuff about this dude. Like his practitioner style is not realistic. So usually in a play you have, when it's a sad scene, you have the actors act so realistically that you feel sad. His plays are usually, when it's a sad scene, he wants you bursting out with laughter, and when it's a happy scene, he wants you crying your eyes out. and
Sure.
very much in summary, he forces you to look at his work with a critical eye. That's a summary of his practitioner style, because a lot of his stuff is very political. He's very much almost an activist in certain ways. However, he uses certain, like, a lot of his work heavers favorably on juxtaposition and sort of like spoiling the play halfway through, but by doing so it forces you in. So a good example can be like juxtaposition in music, like, hey, you have this like murder scene, but it's got like classical music on top. Like instinctively, as an audience member, you're looking at it, but like, no, this is the wrong music for this setting. But in doing so, that makes you pay more attention to the film, and which I think like that's. Yeah, no, go on.
To agree that that's what 2001 is doing.
Yeah, I would agree, but that's what it reminds me the most. It's that element of, it's the use of music, and it just gave me a lot of vibes. That's an example. There's a lot more to it, and I'm butchering it, but it's just such a like the best thing I find about this film is the atmosphere that the film creates. It's very it's very engaging just through simple music.
Yeah, and I honestly think that, I mean, we see a lot of in the third act, the bit with Hal, on the spaceship. Everything's very boring, and I think that's really, maybe on purpose. Not everything being boring, but the human actors specifically, I think. Like, Hal's the one who's doing all the work there on the ship. He's also the person who's most critical to the mission. And he says early in the film that like he's doing this. He has this big purpose for the furthering of science, and that's like the most that any conscious life form can aspire to. I think he's the most purposeful on the ship. He's also the least. He's the most active being. The others are just bored and bland, and everything kind of sucks. I think maybe there's a point there. Question mark.
No, I can.
That's a shadow of a deep analysis for you.
I think that also goes a bit into the very Marmite nature of this film.
Yes, Emily. I mean, you said before we started recording, you said you loved it and you hated it, but mostly hated it.
I can appreciate it. Like, art-wise, I think, as I said before, like cinematically, it is gorgeous and stunning, and like, I don't think I can name a single scene where there's not something interesting to look at. And the music complements it very well. And I think, as you were saying before, like when there's that one scene where it's completely silent, it makes it all that more jarring because it's silent when you're used to like this grand music.
Yeah.
But I think it's boring. That might be my short attention span and just me, but
the film went with very quick for me, but that was also because everyone was making jokes whilst the film was being played. So
I'm sure I would have been a lot more bored if we weren't watching it with other people.
Yeah, that's definitely a better way to watch it. But I think, for me, when I want to watch a film, like, it doesn't matter if it's funny or whatever, but I at least want to be like actively watching it. It doesn't have to be something happening.
It's a very slow burn.
Yeah, I don't want to be bored. Like, and I don't think any piece of art, no matter what, should make you bored.
Like, I was so engrossed in the film by the end of it, so it wasn't. And so whilst like when at the very end of the film, we have a person approach the final obelisk. He realizes that their like mission to study Jupiter or whatever has actually been, unbeknownst to him, it's to investigate this obelisk that has been found in orbit around Jupiter, and like the characters on board the ship don't actually know about the other obelisks until this point. Well, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, except Hal. But he kind of approaches it, and we get like this really interesting, very loose and interpretable sequence. And before that sequence, we get 10 minutes of psychedelic imagery. And like I was really engrossed. I thought, this is really interesting. Like he's like seeing God or something. This is so fascinating. He's touching this thing that was shown to create mankind. In the opening scene, which we do also need to talk about. Wow. And I was, I had the call muted. I was just,
having
in
the
all of the film,
time of your
staring at
life.
the screen. But then, even then, I was like, man, do I wanna? Is there a point to this?
Yeah.
It's
I don't know. That's where I find it tends to be a bit pretentious.
Oh, during that scene, however, like during the call, everyone went silent. Like very much at the end, suddenly everyone stopped making jokes and went silent. So it's very hypnotic. I think this. Do you know about the Far Side comics?
By Gary Larson, right?
Yeah, that guy. You probably have seen them, Josh.
Do you say Far Side?
The Far Side, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, there's this famous comic by the guy, and it's called Cow Tools. And essentially, it's like a simple one page. Let me just. It's a simple one page.
I'm googling it. Yeah.
1 page like image, and it's called Cow Tools, and it's just a bunch of weird looking shapes.
It's a cow. It's in front of some like really dodgy, primitive tools, basically.
Yeah. That single comic has been in debate by like people for ages trying to figure out what on earth those like tools were. And the thing is, Gary Larson said just drew them. There's no purpose. But it's the whole
cow made some tools.
Yeah, it's a joke. That's the whole purpose. This is what a cow thinks tools will be. But it's the whole aspect that people wanted it explained, and it's that element of mystery that people need to explain things, and hence why things like this. There's so many questions that need answering here, but like Stanley Kubrick could just be there like, nah, I just shoved some nice fancy like imagery.
I don't think he did it just to do it.
Knowing him.
That.
But a lot of the time,
I honestly don't know if we've explained enough about this film or not. I feel like maybe you can figure out what's going on as a listener. Maybe I'm complaining about nothing.
I mean, the plot is really simple.
In space,
guy goes to a board meeting. They discuss things. Go to a moon.
Yeah. No. Before that, there's a really nice talk. He's talking with Russian cosmonauts aboard basically the ISS, but not, about how they've heard, they've been unable to reach the US moon base, and how they even had to try and emergency land their space bus, and they were denied access, which breaks an international agreement. And then he says, there's rumors of a virus, an unknown pathogen in the base, and so the American guy's like, I'm not really at liberty to discuss, and his face drops and everything. The tone gets very serious. It's like 2 scenes later. He attends a board meeting. It's like, they bought the story. Because they found out that there was a very special looking stone in the moon that they wanted to feel and touch. And then we cut to some people in space, and eventually turns out they're going to an obelisk as well, and such fun.
Yeah, and it's a very simple plot. and it's 2 hours long. And
Is it 2 hours long?
well, 2 hours 20 minutes. Yeah, 2 hours 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is not much happening stretched out. Yeah, a bit of a long time, but like I like it. It's one of those artsy films where you watch once and it might. You don't want to watch it again, but you're glad for it. I think the length was fine, and I think it being a boring film was also sort of fine. Yeah.
Are we gonna rank it?
Sure. Yes. This will be a very tough thing to rank. So, what were our placeholders?
We got.
I
Bees,
didn't even write them out after I worked out what they were. So we've got Bees, we've got Liam de Lioncourt, we've got
Truman Show,
Truman Show,
Flight of the Bumblebee, Non-Believers.
Right. Yes. So, looking at our very simple. So all of those are, the 25%, 50%, and 75% mark as well as the best and worst. So, looking at those, what are your guys' gut reactions?
It's around Liam de Lioncourt, maybe a bit low. I'll put it above Truman Show.
I kind of agree with that. Like, Liam de Lioncourt. It's a hipster. It's a vampire who talks about taking pictures for Instagram with shitty filters on, whilst occasionally saying "brother," and whilst we all
lose our minds and piss ourselves laughing.
Yeah, and try and ignore the character or about the voice inspiration is a little racist. Maybe I should just stop saying stuff online. I think he got cancelled, right? That was like a big thing a long time ago, and how his career has just kind of existed as a thing on the
I don't know much
or
about him other than maybe he took a lot of drugs. That's about much as I know about Hulk Hogan.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not even into Liam that much in Monster Prom. He's like one of he might be the weakest character from the first game for me. Definitely the weakest male character.
Yeah.
100%, in my opinion. He's quite high though. We really
the voice sells it. That's the problem. Yeah, but go.
He's actually significantly above. I can't believe he's higher than Damien. I just realised on the list. To be fair, there is the Hulk Hogan voice. I don't want to forget that. But sorry, I'll stop ranting about things which I need to. Something I haven't done yet. I need to put the list in. Like, just like the YouTube comments, like this is the list up until this point, stuff like that, because I think occasionally people might want to just like check the list, and I should also try and stop referencing the actual list and the order of things as if people can see them, because they can't. Yeah,
I'm thinking below Broly. That's what I'm.
Broly being number 30,
and I want to put it below. Like, I think that's a good example.
As in directly below that, or just below that?
Directly below that. Because I didn't understand both films, but I did enjoy Broly. It was dumb, and I think that's a good example. Like,
so that's the middle.
Which one? Yeah, which one I would more happily watch again?
That's actually on the higher end of our films. Before we kind of get into films that like we thought were like quite artsy and nice, it's on the higher end of films that are just films, and directly below that is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, then followed by Return of the Jedi, and like the Kung Fu Pandas and the Truman Show is in that block as well. So, Emily, what are your thoughts on that?
I was thinking of putting it at least just under Star Wars Episode 5. Just because I like Star Wars more than I like Space Odyssey.
Yeah, it does have. It has Yoga on Dagobah, which is the height of all of Star Wars. So, I'd be okay with that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. That's
Blammo, there we go. Item 32, 2001 A Space Odyssey. Talk whilst I loudly type things into my computer. And also Google how to spell Odyssey.
I don't know. I guess it's a good film, but not when you're watching it alone, because then you just kind of sit there thinking about all the other films you could be watching instead.
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I think that's a good summary.
Looks cool though. It makes a good wallpaper.
Yeah, it makes a good poster, and that's what really matters in a film.
Yeah, exactly.
If you think about it.
And then you get to see you've watched it, and you can pretend to understand it.
Yeah, you can pretend to be pretentious now. Be like,
Yes.
I've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. Have you? And
Yeah.
He touches...
Should, obviously, because I've seen.
How many times do you have to touch an obelisk to become a crab?
7.
Oh, yeah, 7.
7 times. Monkey to... Okay, so you go from... So monkey is step 1. Then you're the man. Then you become an advanced artificial intelligence. Then you to see all the versions of yourself that could exist in possible futures. And you become a baby. And then, sure, that's 3 steps away from crabs. Cool. I was gonna make a joke trying to work out what you'd be between them, but where you go from giant space baby to get to bloody crabs.
What comes first, time travel or becoming a crab?
What, your innate ability to? Oh wait, you mean the hotel room scene?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the problem with talking about films like this. I don't think he's time traveling though. I don't think there's time travel involved in that scene.
Yeah.
We were watching it with someone, Daniel, who I study further maths with. He's a complete... I love him to bits. He said a very Daniel thing, which he started talking about how he wasn't time traveling. He was experiencing non-Euclidean time and seeing points of time that don't exist and never will. It was just he just went on this tangent about, it was completely over most people's heads. I say most people, I think it was over everyone's heads, but maybe all of us got slight glimpses into little parts of what he was saying. I'm sure together, collectively, if you smashed our brains together, we might understand it a little bit.
I think he was just hallucinating.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot simpler, isn't it? It's a lot easier.
What are we gonna do now? We finished the movie.
So we have to. Yeah, we need to work on natural segues or something. We need a dumb segment. Here's the thing: we need dumb segments more than movies, which is our normal dumb segment, which we end up spending half the podcast on by accident. But we need if someone could just start belting out the tune of a segment, and then we just instantly know what we're doing because it's crab time. We have to talk about crabs again. That would be great. I do have some old notes which I never came back to. I think I ended the 3rd or the 2nd episode saying, I didn't get to talk about large Luigi. We could do that next week, and I still haven't come back to him.
Oh well, now's the perfect time.
Yeah, I haven't checked. I did research him after that, but I have forgotten the things again. So I'm just going to kind of ad-lib it. So this is a character. I think I discovered it by just looking at the Beholder page on the Forgotten Realms wiki. Forgotten Realms is one of the big D&D locations, or what are they called, campaign settings. So, and in the most recent version of Dungeons & Dragons, which came out probably quite a while ago now, 2015, was it? It's around, maybe a bit earlier.
I think 2012, really, or no?
That was my gut instinct, but that feels too early. It doesn't matter. It's the current one that like most like adventures you like buy, the officially released ones from Wizards of the Coast kind of assume you're there. Back in the day, there used to be a lot more campaign settings that I think were actively written about and had adventures set there, unlike now where it's basically like, oh, it's the Forgotten Realms, you know, one of the races that is like in the 5th edition rules is a Goliath, and Goliaths don't exist in the Forgotten Realms, but I don't think I have. I think I've mostly played in versions of the Forgotten Realms, and like we use everyone just avoids the fact that Goliaths aren't canon in the 5e setting, despite being a 5e race. But
Large Luigi.
Yeah. I've completely lost what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know why I started going on
Large
a thing
Luigi.
about the setting. So I was researching beholders, and you're going to named beholders, and I think there's only like a small handful, and one of them is called Large Luigi. So, okay, a beholder. You know what a beholder is, Emily, because you.
I painted you one, yeah, which
You
I still need to
painted me
give you one. Oh,
which is fine.
But yeah, it's the kind of rocky guy with one big eye and lots of tentacly eyes.
So they're called aberrations. That's their like class. That's their
enemy type.
That's their kingdom or class or phylum, whatever step along the chain above genus you want to go. Which means they're alien in nature. They might be in some way related to the outside. There's a place in the lore where they're like, "Ooh, this is a spooky place outside of the known multiverse. Wowee!" And they might have some stuff going on from there because most aberrations relate to that place. So it's a big old ball, got a big old eye on it. Then they've got, is it 8 more? I know it's something to do with 8 eyes. So they've even got 7 more stalks for a total of 8, or they're 8.
It's essentially
eye stalks. I think it's 8
it's
eye
either
stalks,
like a
but they've got a
10
whole
or
bunch
8,
of eyes
and then you can roll it
with big eyes in the middle. Oh, okay.
It's like
and then each eye has a little laser on it. One of them makes you afraid. One of them incinerates you. One makes you paralyzed. One might make you go insane or something funky.
yeah, they're cool monsters.
Good fun. They're uber racist.
Yeah.
Which is a really easy device in fantasy. You're like, oh, we need a villain. What do we? Oh, they're racist. There we go. It's the big monster wants to kill you.
They just hate anyone but themselves. No. They hate everyone because they even hate other beholders.
So beholders are naturally disproposed to think that they are the best thing. So some beholders like other beholders, and in fact, I believe Large Luigi comes from a planet where beholders actually work together. So Large Luigi is from the Spelljammer like campaign, which was from 2nd edition D&D, which they released the idea. It's space. It's spaceships. It's magical fueled spaceships, and it's really cool. They base space off of old ideas of what space was. So like air exists in space, and each solar system is in like a giant glass sphere. And I think there isn't actually air between the spheres, but then you need to like go to like basically like a magical like port opening on the sphere, and then you can fly off between the spheres. I don't think people back in the day really had the idea of a vacuum. So instead of air, there was just a different thing between solar systems, or at least that's in their D&D version of this old model of what the universe might look like. That's what they did. But either way, Large Luigi is from a planet where like the extremely unlikely thing of beholders working together happened. I think it might even be like their home planet or whatever, maybe, according to some bit of lore. And yeah, so most beholders hate each other because beholders they have like different skin like textures. Some are leathery, some are a bit rocky. They have different colors. Some of their eyes do different things. So they are uber racist even to other beholders, and they breed through dreaming. If a beholder dreams of itself, it will most likely wake up next to a different version of itself, and mostly kill each other, even though they're completely identical, and therefore the racism shouldn't apply. I think that's the most likely case where two beholders would work together, though. Maybe. Anyway, there's this thing out there somewhere. It's called the Spindle. I've opened its wiki page. The Spindle was an enormous mountain located in the center of the planet H-Catha, or Hakatha. There's a apostrophe. Standing over 1,000 miles tall and 200 miles wide at space, the Spindle was the tallest mountain in all of realm space. Realm space being the solar system with Forgotten Realms in it. So this is like sort of maybe 5e canon, except they haven't brought Spelljammer in, so probably not. And I believe that along the way up the Spindle, there are like psychic hard drives. There are little storage devices of knowledge. I don't know how it gets the knowledge. I don't know if it's just people who go up the mountain can deposit their knowledge in it, or if it's gaining. It's said to have like all mortal knowledge is on the mountain, so I think they might just be absorbing it from the universe or whatever. And so one day a beholder's like, "Hey, boys, we gotta kill the humies. We gotta kill everyone. We gotta be the best beholders we can be and claim the universe. My name is Large Luigi. I'm gonna go climb this mountain." So he ascends slowly. I think he becomes like the only creature to have ever done it. He slowly, climbs 1,000 miles. I think the biggest challenge with climbing the Spindle is that other beholders are always going up it, and if they see you going up it, they're like, "Oh no, someone else can't do it," and so they'll shoot you, and then you just fight to the death, and then so no one ever manages to climb it. But this one guy did, and he reaches the top, and he becomes the wisest being, or not the wisest, but the most knowledgeable being in the entire universe. He has all mortal knowledge inside of him, and he finally sees reality for what it is. He knows what beholders are, what their true purpose is in the universe. He opens a pub in space. His name is Large Luigi. That's it. He's never even like...
So he has the knowledge of
obviously.
everything, and yet all he does is open a pub.
He isn't even seen. He's just talked about. So there is this character off in the background of the Spelljammer books, and it's like they're fiction books as opposed to like rule books or descriptions of settings or whatever. And it's just yeah, he has a good sense of humor and occasionally plays harmless jokes on his patrons. So his tavern is called the Laughing Beholder, and he's a famous citizen of the city, which I believe is called the Rock of Brawl. And he just like gambles in like he just like wants to be told stories and will tell you fun facts. Man, that was a very long rant.
It does. The character. I just imagine with Large Luigi. Like, with all of the eye socket tentacles, like, he's just doing the Italian, like, hand waving thing with each tentacle at everyone. That's what sure. I think. That, like, someone must have just thought, hey, let me make this dumb beholder name and make him, like, the most wisest guy ever. But just slap on a Mario accent and he just, like, flinging pizzas around, basically.
I don't think this was designed with...
That's
as a kind of...
Just this like cheery man, this sort of hey, who wants the pizza? But also, I know everything in the universe. Let's make cards.
You think that the Beholder home planet has a strong Italian accent?
He's called Large Luigi. That's like the
I'm just asking you a simple question.
It's
yeah. So he's mentioned only. His only appearance isn't actually appearance. It's only mentioned in the The Maelstrom's Eye. Book 3 in the Cloakmaster cycle.
What's a normal name for a beholder then? Is Luigi and like that kind of human name normal, or do they have other weird names? Not weird, but not like Luigi.
They're usually something completely unpronounceable. Hold on, I got the book here. Got Volvo.
Okay, so I went onto fantasy name generators / D&D Beholder names. So these were, I don't actually know how they get these. I assume some of them are canon names, some of them are based off the names that exist. But so the first one is I, as in just like the self I. I think that's a cool name for a weird, wise, yeah. Like they all are quite like smart, I think.
Yeah, I just found the beholder name in Volvo's guide. So we got Barracks, Shelm, Durukasi, Edskull, Famex, Ruv, Janfron, Kower.
I've got Vaux and Kolbor, which I think are pretty strong names.
Nothing like Luigi.
I do have one, Kahil Shishi Kwasar. It's got a Q without a U following it. That's quite...
Selfdrich.
That's a lot of syllables.
That's a good one. Selfdrich. It sounds rather menacing. Solkhaus. Yeah, it's basically a bunch. A beholder picks his name, piecing together sounds and syllables that have significance and meaning to it. That's it. That's what they just pick. They basically pick sounds which they like. They're like, yes. That's my name. So who's there? Like large Luigi.
Oh,
yes,
it should be.
I like a larger Luigi. It represents me very much. I'm a larger, but also an Italian. Right.
Cool. Is that?
Hey, it's something we can.
We've reached an impasse. I never know how to move conversations on.
We can. No, we're not going to stay here.
We
need to figure.
We are approaching the 1 hour mark, so we could just be smart and just stop it because we don't have move it on, or we could just Let's talk about how we don't know what to talk about. I once watched a guy do his English speaking and listening on procrastination, and he didn't research anything. He wasn't convinced that he could do a good one. He was freaking out, so he just didn't put any effort or research, or he didn't write anything down. He did nothing. And so when he showed up, he said it's about procrastination, and he spent 5 minutes like freaking out at the front, but procrastinating from talking about what procrastination was, or ever answering the question of what is procrastination.
That's so
and
smart.
He got a distinction. Man. So and his name is Nathan, and today
of course.
he invited me to the porn Discord server that he's made.
Oh, lovely!
Yay!
That's some
aiming high in life.
a huge responsibility.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I can't think of anything.
Should we call it here?
How about we rank awkward silence? Just before we.
Oh,
awkward
please,
silence.
No, I think that's actually good because that's just like it's actually a good base mark for something that's bad because it doesn't. It's bad and everyone hates it, but it's not bad. You know, like it's like the least definitively bad thing you could have, right? It's not, killing puppies. It's not eating your own boogers. It's just a thing which, like, there's no consequence to it. It just kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't want it. That's the thing. It's
worse than the film Barnyard. Yes. Okay, hangovers. Number 61 out of 68. But they're all worse.
It's worse than hangovers.
Yeah, I'm going worse.
You really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
disagree, but it sounds like I've been outvoted. So let's just keep carrying on down. Number 62, beans on toast.
Worse.
It's Sam.
Oh, better. Never mind.
I think it has to be better than beans on toast.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam isn't responding. So okay, that I think that's quite definitive. It is between hangovers and beans on toast.
I was trying to think of something witty, but my brain was too slow.
Okay, awkward silence. Number 62 out of 69. Blammo. We did actually forget to review Large Luigi. is one thing. So should we do that? So, number 45 is the first thing I saw in front of me. Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, the video game. Is Large Luigi better? It is a giant floating head that can incinerate you. Actually, no, I think they did say in the lore that he did replace his incinerator ray with a different ray. He has a good boy, like a healing ray or
It's a
something
love
instead.
brain.
He just squirts out past the sauce from his eyeball.
Those are the same thing. You both just said the same thing.
Pasta sauce is love, yeah.
I think
it's got to be better, right?
One above.
One above Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
Yeah.
So you think that Damien LeVay, the demon character from Monster Prom, is like 30 items better than a giant floating man named Luigi who knows everything?
Yep.
Which is the where his character ends is just his name is Large Luigi and knows it. I think I completely disagree with you. There are so many things. You think that instead of you could either meet Large Luigi or you could watch Dragon Ball Super Broly. Sam, come on.
Nah. It's easy. Wait. No, sorry. The cogs are working now.
This is a lot of silence you're making me edit out here, Sam.
Maybe if I hum loud enough, I will come up with an answer. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Maybe he's a little bit higher. Maybe he's a little bit higher than. Maybe he's just above Terminator 2.
I think the thing is, I think like living people have to be like so much higher than like movies most of the time. I don't know. Okay, if we agree that it's better than Lego Star Wars, I'm gonna jump up halfway up the list. We've got jumpy bugs, crickets, and grasshoppers. Is Large Luigi better or worse than him?
More interesting,
than them.
but better.
Better. Okay.
I'll go with that.
Okay. Scott Howe.
No.
The dumb.
No, Scott.
Himbo. Werewolf.
Scott is much better than Large Luigi because.
I agree.
I want a
Sam. I think we all know the answer to this one. We all know it. Deep down.
Deep down. I am better than Large Luigi. Thanks for all adding to my ego.
I want to say Sam's better than Large Luigi.
Yeah, let's get
I can't believe I'm getting outvoted. Okay, so
if it's 3 people now, like we can now stalemates. We can win. Haha.
Okay, so
true democracy.
Let's go Star Wars Episode 5, number 31 on the list, The Empire Strikes Back versus Large Luigi. I don't know if this is good listening, so we want to power through this. I think Large Luigi is better.
Sure, yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Emily. Okay. Cool. Oh wait, we already said it was better than Jumpy Bugs. I completely missed that. So I just dropped like 10 points below it. Okay.
Maybe it's better than tractors. Large Luigi is better than a tractor.
You think it's better than tractor? Okay, so we've got... Now bringing this down to a very narrow field. We've got 19 Sam, 20 Dying in the Woods to Become One with the Trees, 21 tractors. I think that Dying in the Woods to Become One with the Trees is better than Large Luigi. That is my aesthetic.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay, and we think that Large Luigi is better than tractors, which certainly. He's got like telekinesis or whatever, so he can just plow your fields for you. So out of 70 items, Large Luigi comes in number 21.
Well, hey.
I can't believe he's lower than Sam.
Oh, thank you.
It's not anything personal. It's just.
I'm not.
It's just about
not an easy person
the
to
person
rank.
you are, and about this other. this other person is. However, I do kind of have to follow a consistent rule that we've established, which is that the more you engage in this podcast, obviously, the better you are as a thing that exists. Meaning you have now jumped above number 19, Fallout New Vegas, which is completely abhorrent. But Sam, I'm promoting you.
Oh, it feels good now.
You're number 18,
all
18 out of 70.
All that time you and me argued why I should be below New Vegas. It's all for
all
nothing.
The training,
now.
all the montages, they've paid off.
I'm winning. I'm slowly going to take over.
Congrats, Sam.
Yay! This is my sinister plan all along.
We need to put, at least once per episode, we need to put something above Sam to keep him down. We can't, preferably 2 things per episode. We can't have him come anywhere near us. Wow. Okay, so that was an episode. I don't know if it was very good, but we made it.
I think none of us are really in it. I think maybe next week will be better.
None of us were in the episode. It's going to be an hour of silence. Oh, we should upload that one week. It was just like a little bit of a
April Fools.
We'll do next April Fools. We'll just upload an hour of silence. Or it'll be one person talking to themselves, and we'll pretend that like we didn't put the other audio tracks in, but actually it's just like one of us talking to themselves for 1 hour.
We just have buzzing. We've all turned into bees at that point.
That would be brilliant. Oh man, it's going to be really funny when all the people listening to this podcast hear our epic prank being used on them. It's the look on their faces.
They won't see it coming.
Wow. No, because this is an audio medium.
Oh.
Buzz, I've been Joshua Joel.
I've been Emily.
And I've been Sam.
And we'll see you later, honey. Wink.
Wink.